Good evening. This is Maestro Cretella with a Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite modcast. Today we have a 2v2 on, I forget what this map is called, Desert Shodown. We have Maestro Cretella as Sindri, Trollface, Chaos Sorcerer. This Chaos Sorcerer who's got some interesting long-range stuff with Doom Bolts, teleporting. He's also got some crazy shenanigans that you just might get a chance to see in this game. My teammate is Zoukka, playing as the Orc Warboss, in my opinion one of the best commanders in the game. Very tanky, very big, very angry, very good. Our opponents, first off, we have Soldier of Christ, playing as the Lord General. He actually did go random. This is Blessed Spartan playing as the Lord General, the only hero who is a commander, who has a squad, and he mostly works on buffing and supporting. And then finally, we have this guy. I can't say this guy's name the way that Indrid says it, so I'm just going to say Strigoi. And he's playing as this very durable and tough Chaos Lord. Both a ranged and a melee hero, can be upgraded either way, to be honest, and in my opinion, also very good and one of the best in the game. Alright, so this is actually the third of 3 games that the 4 of us played together. And the first 2 games, to be honest, Soldier of Christ and Strigoi beat us in those first 2 games, and it was so bad that it was not even worth casting. Looks like right now Zoukka is kind of getting doubled. He's gone for a very typical Orc build with double Daka, double Shooters in Tier 1. And I'm not quite supporting him because I'm over here capturing this victory point, decapping or destroying this power node that Soldier of Christ put up. And I only have my Chaos Space Marines supporting pretty much. So at least I get that map control while also giving him a little bit of support. The Chaos Space Marines, not that powerful, but they are definitely good enough for whittling down these guardsmen. And certainly right now with Soldier of Christ not having a Sentinel and it just being Tier 1, the Chaos Space Marines will be good enough for that purpose, although right now they are getting approached by the Chaos Lord and I retreat them before they can take a model loss. Meanwhile, I also had the Sorcerer around here. I retreated him. I don't know if that was an accident or if I was just not in a good situation. I don't remember. I put grenade launchers on one of my Heretic squads already. This one's over here also getting grenade launchers, and I'm getting the decap and even the cap on Soldier of Christ Natural Victory Point. Meanwhile, though, they're getting this decap on one of our... I mean, not Natural Victory Point, Natural Power Point. Meanwhile, they're capturing one of our power points over here. Zoukka, interestingly, goes for Shoot a Knob, so it's interesting to see that upgrade. I don't know why he got that upgrade. Generally, the Shoot a Knobs make the Shoot a Squad more durable, and they also give detection, but getting the big shooters is the better upgrade for damage. Alright, right here. Ooh, look at the damage that Sentinel Stomp does. It does to these Heretics, even in retreat. And the reason it did that was probably just because Chaos Heretics don't have that much health, and every single model got hit. Wow, use your choppers on these Slugger Boys, forcing off this Havoc squad, but does not take a model. So Strigoi choosing only to get both one Heretic and one Chaos Space Marine. At least from what I've seen so far from Strigoi, he seems to prefer getting only one Heretic squad. So I got a cap on Soldier of Christ Natural Victory Point. He actually decapped it with his Sentinel, but he needs some other unit to come around to actually cap it and get a power node up. Meanwhile, we haven't quite gotten this power node up over here. This Warboss upgraded to the Charge with Angry Bits, grants him the Now I'm Angry ability, which allows him to charge in. Going to be very good against Chaos, I think, especially with Chaos not having that much range DPS to begin with in Tier 1. And it allows him to just get right in there, allows him to counter some of his counters, such as that Havoc, where he just ran into that Havoc. Down here, I'm actually preventing Soldier of Christ from getting the cap on his power node, so he still can't get that power node. But meanwhile, he's also decapping our power node up here, so both teams have not been able to get 2 power nodes up. And these double grenade launcher Heretics, first of all, one of the reasons I got those grenade launcher Heretics is that there's this big-ass building in the middle. So with that building in the middle, it certainly necessitates getting some anti-garrison. And then grenade launcher Heretics are extremely good against Imperial Guard anyway. Unfortunately, I think that was somewhat poorly managed by me. Certainly with the Havocs getting flanked, they need to get out of there. But I think I retreated the grenade launcher Heretics a little prematurely. I may have just done some kind of like an full retreat, especially since my Sorcerer was over there. The Sorcerer actually won against the Lord General in single combat, or in 1 against 4. And it now looks like red team's going to get the map control, aside from Zoukka capturing this victory point over here with this Slugger Squad. He also has a Pain Boy out on the field right now. This is a sub-commander for the Orcs in the Elite mod. Only has infantry armor, but does power melee damage and can also heal. So it's like having an Orc Apothecary. Havocs are not quite set up here. They need to set up, but it looks like, yeah, I retreat them. I did a full retreat, and I think I should stop doing that. I'm not sure why. Certainly, my Grenade Launcher Heretics and my Sorcerer did not have to go. That was a bad choice by me. I think I just retreated because I got frustrated because my Havoc wasn't set up for some reason, and then the Sentinel got around the Havoc's firing arc. Alright, over here, these Heretics in a little bit of trouble. The Warboss is charging in, but I think that's a little too far, and he actually runs into the banister on the stairs and cannot get in on that Havoc. So that Havoc stays on the field. So do these Chaos Space Marines from Strigoi. We have a double artillery spotters. One almost goes down from Soldier of Christ trying to get that cap. Probably would have lost the squad if he had gone for the full cap. And Zoukka loses. He actually just about loses a Shooter Boy model to the Chaos Lord, and he actually does lose it to that Chaos Lord. All right, Havocs right here are shooting at the Chaos Lord. The Chaos Lord has been upgraded to the Harness of Rage, which is a bit of a curious upgrade. A little surprising to see that. With my current build, I don't have, again, Chaos generally doesn't quite have a lot of range DPS in Tier 1. These Grenade Launcher Heretics, they're not, well, I mean, they certainly do good damage, but it's more like area of effect damage than crazy DPS. Havoc set up. This Grenade Launcher squad needs to go. So, tons of Doom Bolts going down, but the Guardsmen actually tie up the Havoc squad, and Guardsmen will actually definitely lose to a Havoc squad in melee, but that actually buys time for the Sentinel to just come in and tie up, and stomp the Havoc. But now the Havoc is setting up again, and the Sentinel's in a bad position, but I don't actually shoot the Sentinel, and the Sentinel actually just goes around the walls, gets out of that Havoc firing arc to prevent it from dying. And finally, we have a power farm going up for the red team on this side, but no comparable power farm for us. Chaos Raptors out for Strigoi. Kind of surprising choice. I personally don't think it's a great choice. Oh, but that was a good move to stop the Warboss from charging in. They jumped in, suppressed him, and he just stopped right where he was. I think he may have actually just but he gets in anyway. Wow, look at that Warboss tanking all that. Now with Ard Boys. And this is part of what's so good about the Warboss. Although he is definitely getting to the point where he will have to go. I think Zoukka may actually lose him here. This is getting very close, and he will lose him right here. Alright, over here, Grenade Launcher Heretics. Again, the Grenade Launcher Heretics are very good against Imperial Guard. It's an extremely good build against Imperial Guard. One of the things that's different, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but one of the things that's different about this game compared to the other games that Zoukka and I played against Strigoi and Soldier of Christ is that before I got matched up with Strigoi. So that's the Sorcerer against the Chaos Lord, which I think is not a very good matchup for the Sorcerer. I think the Sorcerer in general has trouble with tanky melee heroes and is on the losing end of all Chaos Mirrors. However, now I'm up against Soldier of Christ playing as the Imperial Guard. And Imperial Guard is, Chaos is generally very good against the Imperial Guard, and I actually think that the Sorcerer is the best Chaos hero against the Imperial Guard. Grenade Launcher Heretics do have to go, but they do get their Grenade Barrage off. More Doom Bolts going in. Look at all that area of effect damage. A heal goes down on the Catachans, allowing them to close in, and I think I'm finally going to have to go here. It definitely held pretty nicely for a while, though I do finally have to go. Certainly Imperial Guard, with all this support, all the artillery support, as well as these Catachan Devils, is going to disrupt a lot of my units. Will provide comparable disruption compared to how I've been disrupting Soldier of Christ. But it looks like one of those artillery spotters actually goes down from Zoukka right here with his Slugger Boys in here, as well as his Pain Boy in by himself. Might take out the... actually does take out the Sentinel. The Pain Boy actually took out the Sentinel, which is kind of funny. Obviously, the Sentinel Stomp did go off there. And Soldier of Christ, let's see, he lost his Sentinel and he lost an Artillery Spotter Squad. So, lost 2 units. Not so good for him. And now he's got to deal with my Chaos Blob, which unfortunately is a little too blobbed up. And it gets hurt by gets disrupted by those catachans. Sorcerer upgraded to fully upgrading to the Sword of Flame, Icon of Tzeentch, and now the Vestments of the Warp. Alright. Sorcerer goes in, and he puts Icon of Tzeentch on those catachans, Dark Flames, and now catachans... Oh, man. That was awesome. So that was the Icon of Tzeentch, as well as Dark Flames, and that just resulted in the catachans instantly exploding. And of course I knew that was going to happen because, I mean, obviously I played this game, but it was just awesome just to see it again. Usually, if you can get Dark Flames to happen right, it will set off a chain reaction that can kill an entire squad. Although, with that squad, it kind of just exploded the entire squad instantly. But anyway, zoukka now has a weird boy out on the field. Another Orc Sub-Commander, one that's from retail. Very good one. Has a Plasma Cannon, passive attack. Very good for disrupting and doing damage. Chaos Lord up here, fully upgraded. Blood Maul, Harness of Rage, and Dark Halo. That's going to make the Chaos Lord extremely tanky. The Dark Halo is an energy shield. The Harness of Rage will allow him to restore energy with each hit. And then the Blood Maul is just a good weapon. The Power Claws would actually synergize better with this build, though, because they would attack a lot faster, and then he would be regenerating energy a lot faster. Meanwhile, zoukka's Warboss still has that Angry Bits, allowing him to charge in. Also has this Power Claw, a 95 DPS heavy melee weapon. Does not have an ability or anything, but there's no way you can complain about 95 DPS on a commander this tough. 95 DPS heavy melee of all things. Havoc's firing at that Chaos Lord, but he does not care. Alright, so Chaos Lord Sorcerer is fully kitted out. This is mainly a build that is meant to counter Guardsmen. And there are different ways that you can employ Icon of Tzeentch, but the main way, well, certainly the way that I've found, is using Icon of Tzeentch with Dark Flames. If Dark Flames is on cooldown, or if you don't have enough red, you can just teleport the Sorcerer in and have him attack, since having him attack with the Sword of Flame is your best chance at getting a model kill within the 10 to 15 seconds that Icon of Tzeentch is active. Anyway, Imperial Guard Range Blob is back, buffed by the Sniper Rifle on this Lord General. Basically, it's a weapon. It's not as good as the Sniper Rifles for Rangers or Scouts, but does give the Lord General an ability called Fire on My Target, which allows him to increase the range of all of his squads, and it's a very good ability. The Lord General is good at buffing units, and I'd say he's actually the best at buffing units in the game. Anyway, the Warboss, the Pain Boy, and the Slugga Boys fighting against these Ogrins, while basically while my units just bash generators. Letting zoukka do the heavy lifting while I go for the easy targets. Imperial Guard Range Blob coming back out again, while Chaos is also coming right here. Mark of Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines for Strigoi. Also an Autocannon Havoc. That Autocannon Havoc going to be doing explosive damage and splash damage. Kind of a curious choice. I think he might be better off with the suppression against zoukka's Power Claw Warboss, but the Warboss gets knocked back by this Chaos Lord, and right now the Chaos Lord is definitely going to be winning against the Warboss, both doing more damage than the Warboss and having way more health as well as durability. And there goes more Icon of Tzeentch on Strigoi's Heretics, exploding a few more, but ultimately not getting the squad. They do have that Aspiring Champion, which is definitely going to make it a lot harder to kill the Heretics with the Icon of Tzeentch. All right. Havoc's right here, suppressing Havoc's at level 1. Havoc's are a suppression team. They suppress pretty much instantly, but they are not very killy. And right now they are about to get hit by a grenade. I do retreat immediately, and I actually take no damage. I have my Sorcerer over here, kind of just up front, going for a decap on that victory point. Chaos Raptors jump back. They actually do lose a model. I was going to say lucky to not lose a model, but they do have the Aspiring Champion with that powerful Lightning Claw. I'm guessing Strigoi right here. He got a Plague Marine squad, even though we don't have any vehicles. He might have just gotten it as a preemptive vehicle counter or deterrent. Chaos Lord will go down here. He can bash generators with that squad, with that Plague Marine squad, but right now I think Le Strigoi's Plague Marines are getting a little overwhelmed. So are these Guardsmen. Going to start taking grenade launcher hits, although my grenade launcher Heretic's still a little too blobbed up. I have a Tzeentch Chaos Dreadnought on the field too. Alright, I'm about to get hit. Ooh, a big mortar shot. I'm blobbing too much. So it's not a good idea by me. But here comes that Chaos Dreadnought. Here comes the Sorcerer. Sorcerer teleports in. More Icon of Tzeentch, as well as Dark Flames. Will it get that squad? Quite a few Imperial Guardsmen dying. And I don't think any of those squads died, but they certainly came really close right there. They're being chased down by these Chaos Space Marines. I got Khorne Chaos Space Marines against Imperial Guard. And it's kind of a curious choice, considering melee units are generally considered not that great against Imperial Guard. Particularly Banshees as Eldar. It's often said that you just can't get Banshees as Eldar when you're playing against Imperial Guard, just because they'll just get stomped and focused. These Chaos Space Marines, Khorne Chaos Space Marines, actually seem to be a little bit of an exception. You can actually get them against Imperial Guard, and they'll do quite well. First of all, they'll absolutely wreck any range squad that they get into melee with. And then with those plasma pistols and that melta pistol, they can actually threaten the Sentinel, which is the primary melee counter. Warboss going to go down here again. And those Khorne Chaos Space Marines also can even do some light AB damage to a Chimera, which Soldier of Christ does not have. Right, Ogrins right here, actually doing pretty well for Soldier of Christ. I feel like I definitely have some counters to Ogrins, and zoukka definitely has some counters to Ogrins. But right now, zoukka's got to get those Slugger Boys out of there. They are in a lot of trouble, getting hit by a ton of damage. But I did get a full Gen Bash off over here with my Tzeentch Chaos Dreadnought. That Tzeentch Chaos Dreadnought, obviously, I don't have any vehicles to deal with. But that Tzeentch Chaos Dreadnought is great just for infantry blob control. And we have a huge infantry blob from both these players. I mean, right now, I'm going to... Ooh, and yeah, I mean, look at what's going on right here. Soldier of Christ is retreating because he's, like, risking losing his Imperial Guardsmen. My grenade launcher Heretics do have to go, though. Chaos Dreadnought now in a little bit of trouble, as is my Chaos Sorcerer. The Chaos Sorcerer right there, he does go down. I was hoping to teleport him out of there, but he got stunned, so I couldn't use the ability. And I thought that I was just gonna... And, I don't know. I was hoping to teleport him out of there. Couldn't use the ability. There goes my Chaos Dreadnought already, so kind of a waste. And you know, the fighting actually feels really even, but if you notice, zoukka and I are actually winning on the victory points. So, I think part of it may just be that I'm controlling this side so much, and Soldier of Christ hasn't really bothered going for a back cap on this victory point. And I think just a back cap on this victory point would do a lot to even out the victory point, since I haven't been doing much either. I'm actually running a little low on units. Well, not too bad. But I did just lose a Tzeentch Chaos Dreadnought, and I'm choosing to go to Tier 3 instead of getting out another Tier 2 unit. We already have a heavy turret from Soldier of Christ. That heavy turret is pretty tough to deal with. Ooh, and these these Chaos Raptors jump into my Khorne Chaos Space Marines, but that is not a good fight for them. Guardsmen going to start getting hit by grenades. Look at how good those grenades are against the Imperial Guardsmen. And that heavy turret is going to go down. We got a Warboss whacking on it with the Power Claw. Now has spiky armor. I thought he was going to get heavy armor. The heavy armor upgrade for the Warboss seems so good these days. Just because it's a ridiculous amount of health on a hero who's already tanky, and he just becomes ridiculously tanky. So right now, I mean, the fighting feels even for the most part. Zoukka even losing another squad. But Zoukka and I are actually winning quite a bit on the victory points. Both of us in Tier 3. Soldier of Christ still in Tier 2. But Le Strigoi in Tier 3, but cannot afford to get any type of units or anything. While zoukka and I are in Tier 3 and can buy some kind of Tier 3 unit. The Imperial Guard blob is coming back. I'm actually getting Chaos Terminators right here. Sorcerer was taking too much range fire and needed to teleport out of there. And Terminators are going to be... Terminators are great against Imperial Guard as well, just because they do so much range damage. It's basically 100 DPS piercing, and it's basically going to be killing a Guardsman a second. Although that's not quite coming true, but I think the Terminators are actually targeting the Ogrins. Alright. Sorcerer goes in there. So do these Khorne Chaos Space Marines. Tzeentch, Curse of Tzeentch goes down again on the Guardsman. killing them. And look at all these demoralizations from the Chaos Terminators as well. And now an Imperial Abyss by Strigoi on my units. Kills a Grenade Launcher Heretic squad. I do retreat the other one. I'm actually keeping the Chaos Terminators in play. But I think I'm in a bit of a situation where I'm kind of alone now on the field. Havoc's reset up, did not get hit much at all by that. And now the Chaos Lord is actually in right... The Chaos Lord with that Dark Halo can basically just charge in on a Havoc squad. My Chaos Terminators will probably have to go back to base. They're at about like 60, 70% health. Might lose a model soon. Certainly don't want them to lose a model. But now I'm definitely pushed off the field. Zoukka has some knobs. Alright, victory points are going to be evened out. Actually going to be now soon a 2-cap, I think, for the red team. Unless Zoukka does get this over here. Soldier of Christ actually gets some late-game Catachans. Not actually a bad choice. Catachans, it's actually pretty hard to go wrong with Catachans. They're pretty good. Lord General goes for a decap over here, but he cannot deal with... Basically, I actually have most of my army over here. Chaos Terminators actually upgrade to the autocannon. By the way, my Grenade Launcher Heretic squad actually at level 4. I think my other one was actually at level 4 as well. Alright, Knobs coming in. This weird boy taking some shots, but he's getting a little low on health. We'll probably have to go. But Knobs can take on a lot of things. Although right now I think the Knobs are actually pretty well countered. Catachan Devils that can shotgun them. A lot of plasma damage coming from these Guardsmen. As well as Ogrins that... actually, Ogrins don't want to engage the Knobs in melee right now. Anyway, I'm coming back. Using my Grenade Launcher Heretic squad actually just to bash this generator. I'm getting this victory point over here, capping with the Corn Space Marines, and I teleport in again. Do I? Yes, I do get an Icon of Tzeentch cast. Do I? And I was actually hoping to get some more model losses on that squad with those Chaos Terminators. Over here, looks like the Knobs are fighting the Heretics. That's not a winning battle for Heretics. They should probably get out of that fight before that squad gets wiped. I'm lucky to get the Aspiring Champion with the Aspiring Champion actually gets a special attack. And will that Heretic squad get out of there? It does. I think a lot of that owed to the Aspiring Champion getting a special attack on Knobs. So Chaos Terminators now for Strigoi. I put my Corn Space Marines in there because they will do really good damage to the Chaos Terminators, but they are low on health. They actually take out one of Strigoi's Chaos Terminators, but they do have to go, or they would have probably died there. Anyway, my Chaos Terminators actually at 3 out of 3 models, and now it's 358 to 3 VPs. And I think it's really weird because the VPs have... The game and the fighting has felt really even, but the VPs are obviously pretty significantly in favor of us. Sorry for panning away from the rocks there. I wanted to catch some of what was going on down here. I have a feeling that one of the things that I tend to do is I feel like whenever I have a cast with myself in it, I think I have a tendency to only watch stuff that's going on my side. And now actually, but I'm watching Zoukka combining that Warp Vomit on those Chaos Terminators and actually just straight up wipes them with the Knobs. And that's not looking good for the red team. They still have more units than us, amazingly. Even despite not having the VPs and even despite some of the things that was going on right there. Zoukka probably having a little bit of trouble. A rocket run from Soldier of Christ. Knocks over my units, but I just barely get the cap off with my Sorcerer, and that is the game. So that is a game that obviously you can see by the VPs was not that close, but I feel like the fighting was close. And I feel like if Soldier of Christ had just gotten this victory point from time to time, it would have been a lot more even in terms of VPs. Of course, Soldier of Christ will probably see this replay. He and Strigoi did beat us quite badly in 2 games before this one. And it could be selection bias on my part. I didn't think those games were worth casting. And I find that sometimes, I guess, whenever I win a game, I'm more likely to think, like, oh yeah, that was a good game, I should cast it. And if I lose a game, I'm more likely to think, like, oh, that game sucked. But anyway, that's a lot of talking. Hope you enjoyed the cast. Have a good night.